Welcome, ladies and gents. My name is Curci, and last Wednesday we got the first ever trailer, the first ever anything that we got on Fallout 4. It was the announcement. I'm super excited about it, so I kind of want to do what we did with Call of Duty Black Ops 3, where we took some screenshots of the trailer and we discussed what we saw. So I'm not taking all of the images of the trailer. If you want to see the full trailer, I will include it in a link in the description below this video, so go ahead and click it if you want to see the whole thing. But we're just going to take screenshots and just kind of discuss some of the things that we see. So before we get into it, I kind of want to describe what Fallout is for those who don't know. Fallout is basically an open world, free roaming, create your own adventure kind of game. It's made by the same people who make Skyrim, who make Oblivion, who make Morrowind, and that's Bethesda. So some of the things that you see in those games kind of expect the same idea here. It's just with a different environment, a different theme to it. So the theme of Fallout is basically, it's a post-apocalyptic world, kind of asking the question of what if the world ended in a nuclear war during like the 50s or something. So that's kind of what this is you exploring this post-apocalyptic world and having your own adventure, creating your own story in it. So let's get into this real quick. This is the first image that I kind of pulled from the trailer. It actually starts over on that TV where it says please stand by, and it kind of pans out and it kind of does that whole old-timey music. So very similar to the reveal trailer that they did for Fallout 3, where it was a radio and they kind of panned out and it had old-timey music chime in. But as it panned out, it was panning out and you start to see like, okay, it was a messed up like kind of bus or car or something, and then you see like it was Washington DC, very unkept and everything, and as it panned out you see a wider view, so it kind of revealed the setting. That was exactly what I expected with this trailer, but we actually get in-game engine gameplay footage. So let's get into a little bit more about this living room here. One of the things that this trailer is going to do is it's going to flip between post-apocalyptic images and pre-apocalyptic images. So I want to take note real quick of the things that are on the table. So you have like a magazine and what looked like a board game, because in this next shot here, this is the same living room. It's more well kept, obviously pre-apocalyptic, and you see that that magazine and that board game is still on the table. So the bombs that went off that ended the world probably went off very shortly after this moment. So let's go to this next shot right here. This is a little bit more to the left. It's post-apocalyptic, but you see in the doorway there's a German Shepherd. So it's one of the dogs. It looks like a dog companion is going to be accompanying you in Fallout 4. Just like in Fallout 3, there was another dog companion named Dogmeat. One of the most useful characters in the game, something that you kind of connected with, kind of helped out with the entire experience, because Dogmeat in Fallout 3 had the possibility of dying. And when he died, it was very emotionally impactful. So a lot of times when I played through, sometimes Dogmeat did die, so I actually reloaded the checkpoint. I was like, Dogmeat's not going to die in my story. But the useful thing about Dogmeat in Fallout 3 was that at times you would tell him, hey, I'm out of ammo. Go find ammo for me. And he would go for a little bit, but then he would eventually come back and he would have ammo that you could use for your gun. Maybe not the specific ammo that you're looking for that particular gun. I actually don't remember if Fallout 3 did a thing where you had to have pistol ammo or rifle ammo or assault rifle ammo. I don't remember exactly how they did it, or if it was just ammo in general. But yeah, hopefully, I'm sure they're going to include that same type of mechanic in this game with this German Shepherd here. But let's go to this next shot here. Pre-apocalyptic once again. Now we're going to see a Mr. Handy robot. Mr. Handy robots in again during the time of Fallout were kind of like maids or butlers or something. So they would clean the house. They would kind of like serve dinner. Sometimes they would cook. Sometimes they would do like certain things. Sometimes in the games, they would actually be vendors that you would go to kind of buy things. Some of them help out in medical or clinics or things like that. So all different kinds of uses for Mr. Handy robots. But also some of them are enemies. In fact, most of the people in this game you can actually attack and they'll attack you back. Again, it's one of those Skyrim-esque kind of games where it's create your own adventure, do what you want kind of world. Here's a sandbox, go explore. I kind of want to point out here something. Fallout, this is pre-apocalyptic once again, but like I said earlier, it asked the question of what happens if the world ended in like the 50s or the 60s. But then there's a flying robot right there, something that we don't even have this day and age, kind of, sort of. So it's kind of like a fantasy, kind of like alternate reality, not alternate reality, but you kind of get the idea that I'm going for here, which is yes, it's older than it is today. Like you see the way their cars look like something that they would in the 50s. Their clothing and fashion look like something that would be in the 50s. But then you have these robots, and these, like later on in the trailer, you'll see that during the pre-apocalyptic time, they had like these kind of helicopter things, very futuristic. There is laser guns and things like that. So futuristic in a past, again, it's like kind of fantasy, sort of, kind of. So over here, this next shot is, again, another pre-apocalyptic vision. of this family, and there's a baby in that crib. Now, around this time, or actually throughout the trailer, once they introduce the dog, they start talking about, like, you hear this voiceover over the radio kind of going over and saying, like, oh, we have breaking news, we possibly have incoming. So around this time, you hear like sirens going off. They're saying that this actual shot right here, the line that's being said is that we're losing contact, or we've lost contact with our Philly station. So again, you're starting to think to yourself, okay, it's within close proximity to Philadelphia. And one of the leaks about this game, or one of the rumors about it, was that Bethesda was actually looking at Boston as one of the new locations for this game. So the fact that they're talking about Philly stations, there's a good indicator of saying, okay, they might be in that Boston area. It's not disproving it. I mean, if it was on like if they were saying something about like, oh, we're losing contact with our LA stations, then we can kind of say like, okay, maybe they're not in Boston. But here's a shot of the dog kind of at the crib. Again, like I said, it's kind of shifting from both pre-apocalyptic to post-apocalyptic. And around this time, sirens start going off, and they're saying, the voiceover starts saying, oh, we have incoming. So then you get this shot of the dog actually leaving the house. He actually runs throughout the house, and then here's the entire town. Again, post-apocalyptic, things are kind of wrecked up. Looks like this house over here on the left actually got a little bit more collapsed because bombs went off. So this next shot is that same town, pre-apocalyptic, again, like I said, with the cars looking a little bit more like something you would see out of the 50s, the way that these people are fashioned up. But then there's a helicopter flying in the sky. Very colorful world here, which Fallout 3 was very kind of brown and gray and like messy colors. This one looking a little bit more colorful. So this shot right here, these people are actually trying to get into the vault because during this time there was a great war going on between, I want to say like China or something, and or China was involved in it, I believe. So a lot of people were kind of expecting that this nuclear apocalypse was going to happen. So they started building these vaults in like the ground and saying like, this is our safe haven. These are our bunkers that we're going to go in. And certain vaults kind of had a certain job. Some of them had to preserve a certain thing like music. Some of them did like weird testing as people were in there without their knowledge of it. But these are people lining up to try to get into a vault. We see these two soldiers here, which look like Brotherhood of Steel guys. That's the way that their armor is kind of armored up. So then this is our shot of Vault 111, so Vault 111. Fallout 3 started with your character starting in the vault, and then he comes out of Vault 101, and then he's in the Capital Wasteland in DC. So I'm assuming the same kind of thing happens here. But also Fallout New Vegas was a game that came out after Fallout 3, and that did not start you in a vault. That actually started out with you out in the world. Like this was something, you were a courier. So you like ran jobs, you made deliveries and stuff. So Vault 111, probably one that you're going to be starting out with. So this is kind of blurry here, but again, it's giving you that indicator. Like we're making the assumption that this is the main character. This is the character that you're going to play as. In Bethesda games, you're going to create whether it's a girl or a guy and what he looks like or what she looks like, but they're kind of going with like the generic character here just for the sake of the trailer. But you see how it's all blurry. It's really bright. So it's giving you the indication of maybe this is the first time you're ever leaving the vault, or maybe it's the first time you're leaving the vault in a long time. So over here, this is a shot of the landscape. Again, no indication of it being Boston just yet, but we will get it confirmed later on in the trailer. But just giving you a wide variety of all these places you can go to. You see that tower over there? You can walk to that tower. So nothing really too surprising when it comes to Fallout games. And this is Bunker Hill. This is a monument for a Revolutionary War battle. Basically, this is our first indicator. This is our first landmark saying, yes, this is Boston. So that's a surefire way of saying, okay, we're in Boston. Again, you see it's a little bit unkept, only because it just went through a nuclear war. This right here is the USS Constitution. Looks like it's been remodeled to be a sort of like airship, which airships are going to be a thing that pop up throughout this trailer. But that's kind of cool. I hope we get to ride one. I'm pretty sure we'll get to be on one of them at least once. So this is like one of those towns that I'm assuming you would get to visit. In Fallout, there was a hub city or a main city that you would always go to for trading and things like that. And that was Megaton. It's the first city that you hit. This kind of has vibes of that Megaton kind of establishment. You have a bar over there with Memory Den. You have this gunslinger out in the middle of the street. But what's interesting about this shot here, You can't see it obviously because it's a still image, but it's actually raining. And this is the first time a Fallout game is actually going to have weather effects. There was a day and night cycle in Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, but this is the first one that's actually going to have rain. And like I said before, this is a world that just went through a nuclear apocalypse. So water is radiated. And actually, the end of Fallout 3, there's a possibility that water could be purified, but we're talking about Boston, and that's Washington, D.C. So there's a good chance that the water there may be really good, and also depending on how the game ends, I'm sure water is still going to be irradiated. So it also begs the question of, like, how is rain going to be treated? Are you going to get radiation from rain? Is it going to be another thing that you're going to have to think about when you're trying to survive out in this world of, oh God, it's starting to rain, so maybe we should go take cover or something like that. So it's just something I kind of noticed, something I just kind of thought about. So this right here looks like we have a Brahmin right there. Throughout Fallout 3, I don't remember if it was in Fallout New Vegas or not, they were actually traveling merchants, and those Brahmin you could actually attack. You could kill the merchant and attack and kill the Brahmin and then actually loot the store for stuff. So I'm assuming you might be able to do the same thing here, but I don't know, just something cool. This right here is actually a very interesting shot for several reasons. We have this crash bus or metro train or whatever over here on the left. But over on the right, you see it's kind of, shadowy a little bit. But you have what looks like a Brotherhood of Steel guy. And then kind of behind him, walking with him, is what looks like a super mutant. And super mutants, again, when this world went through the nuclear apocalypse, a lot of people got mutated. So there are giant scorpions, there are giant people that are super mutants, and then you have people that are more zombie-like, and they are called ghouls. Some are feral, some are actually will talk to you and actually will be your friend. But this right here, it looks like the super mutant is walking with the Brotherhood of Steel guy, and super mutants are more often than not enemies in Fallout. There are some that are friendly, though. One of them actually can be a companion for you in Fallout 3. Now, if you look behind them on the top of that hill, you see a couple of things right there. It looks like there's a cage hanging from something. It looks like there's like this kind of ball or bag hanging from something. So this looks like one of those kind of super mutant encampments, because super mutants will just mutilate people and stuff them in bags, or they'll put them in cages. So it looks like these people looks like either they just attacked it or they're passing it, or that's a super mutant encampment behind them. So super mutants obviously are gonna be in this game. I mean, I don't think you can do a Fallout game without super mutants at this point. So this right here, that's a Protectron. Protectrons actually look like they got a little bit of a repainting. In Fallout in Fallout 3, they actually were more gray or more black, but this one looks like he's gotten a little bit of a paint job here. So just something I noticed. And this right here, it looks like a crab. It is a crab, something or other. I'm thinking more of a Murloc. Murlocs are creatures that you encounter throughout Fallout. So that's what I'm kind of thinking here. Again, it's like it's a mutated crab. It's now human size and will eat your face. So that's something that I noticed there. This is a cool shot because it's obviously a Deathclaw. Deathclaws are probably the most brutal enemies in the entire game. They will just rip you to shreds if you're not prepared to take them on. But I like the area around it. Very radiated, it looks like. Very like kind of messy and very like muddy and things like that. You see the structures around them are completely obliterated. So it makes me think, okay, this place is where because Deathclaws like to be around more heavily radiated areas. But yeah, this looks actually really cool. And I really like the design. Like it's kind of shadowy, kind of obscure, but still very cool looking. So this right here is one of those helicopters. In Fallout 3, there are two factions. There is the Brotherhood of Steel and the Enclave, and the two are actually warring against each other. And the Enclave actually flew around in helicopters similar to this. Now, I'm not 100% sure if the Enclave is still around. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. Maybe the Brotherhood of Steel just kind of took over those helicopters. I'm not really 100% sure what's going on here, but you do get to ride in one of these, or at least somebody rides in one of these in the trailer. There is a shot from inside it. This right here is one of my favorite shots of the trailer because feral ghouls, and that's what these guys are, they're in the supermarket. They like to kind of hide underground in metro stations and, supermarkets, abandoned places and things like that. And they are fast. Like, picture it as fast zombies. That's how you picture feral ghouls. And I really like the redesign of these guys. Looks really cool. And these guys are just sprinting at whoever is. I'm assuming the character's right there, so they're just sprinting right at him. So this right here looks like a shot from one of those hub cities. In Skyrim, they kind of had a bunch of different cities that you could consider your hub city, even though you had the one that you hit first. But then there were like a whole bunch that you can kind of have a house in and things like that. In Fallout 3, there was only really one or two that you could actually have a house in. Like, this is where I'm going to sit down. I'm going to restock up. I'm going to catch my breath. I'm going to get everything that I need, sell some things that I found from out in the world. And this looks like one of them. It looks like Fenway Park. Again, we're in Boston. Like, we kind of confirmed at this point that we are actually in Boston. So this looks like one of the hub cities. Fenway Park, just kind of repurposed to be some sort of like city. This is another interesting shot. Another shot. It looks like the same kind of city as we saw earlier with the tavern and the gunslinger and the rain and everything. But the first thing that you kind of see here is this little robot. That's one of those, looks like an Enclave robot. And those robots actually were in Fallout 3, kind of broadcasting the kind of propaganda that the Enclave was putting out during the game. But one of the other things that I actually want to point out here is this kind of poster that's sitting on that building right there, and it just says enlist. I can't make out who's posing for the picture. It doesn't look like Brotherhood of Steel, but it doesn't also look like Enclave. But I have no idea who it could be. But they're asking people to enlist. So I think that could be something like a faction, because there could be different factions in this game. Like, you can join one side or the other side. And I like games that give me that freedom to kind of see the situation and choose my own side as to where I want to go. Because Fallout New Vegas did that really well. This is just a bigger view of that city that we were just looking at. Actually, this shot is the same shot. It just kind of pans up and looks, again, it looks like one of those same cities that we saw with the gunslinger. It has that same kind of architecture kind of theme to it. Over here, it's the Paul Revere statue and an airship up in the sky. Again, more of an indication that this is actually going to be in Boston. But this does not look like the USS Constitution. It looks like a different airship. So more than one airship in this game. I'm really curious as to how they're going to affect the actual gameplay. But I guess we're going to have to wait and see about that. But that's kind of cool. So again, this is that same shot that I was actually talking about earlier of inside the chopper. It looks like, again, another Brotherhood of Steel, but there's actually something I kind of want to point out here. If you look at, I'm going to point it out right here, but you kind of see that poster that says GNN. Now, I'm kind of speculating and saying that that's Galaxy News Network. Galaxy News Network actually owns what is called, owns the TV station and the radio station. So if you ever played Fallout 3, you know that there's GNR, Galaxy News Radio, which was the station that played all the music, which was the station that had Three Dog as the DJ. So I'm really hoping that Three Dog is going to make a return. Keeping in mind, you can kill Three Dog in Fallout 3. I'm really hoping that this game, he makes a return. But I mean, because he can die in Fallout 3, there's a good possibility that they might not have included him, but I would have been really happy if they do. So I got really excited when I saw that. So here's the State House, the Massachusetts State House, excuse me. So obviously this is Boston, the wide view of it, kind of like how they treated DC. I really want this world to allow me to literally get lost in it, because that was the thing that happened to me in Fallout 3. I know you can put like waypoints and markers and things to kind of guide you throughout the world, but I really hope that they just kind of let me lose myself. Like, I want the city of Boston to be vast and open, and maybe not open, because I know how Skyrim kind of likes to treat, or Skyrim, I know how Bethesda likes to kind of treat its games, where big cities like this are kind of broken up in certain sections with loading screens. But still, I really hope that they allow me to kind of explore the way I would like to. And Boston is not a small city, so allow me to just, explore a little bit. So this right here, it looks like a vault. It's actually a horizontal door for a vault rather than your traditional vertical one. I don't know, thinking outside the box in terms of vaults. This might actually be the same vault that the character actually comes out of. So this could be Vault 111, I'm basically saying. But it looks like we have our dog friend right over there. But again, going to jump back to the pre-apocalyptic view of the same vault, more colorful. We have some soldiers here, people just kind of standing on the door, hoping to get in, which if you're trying to get into a vault, you probably don't want to stand on the door. But then this shot right here, there's a bomb going off. These people are basically dead. And then it kind of cuts to black right after this scene right here. Like I said, this is pre-apocalyptic, right before the bombs went off, and there's the bomb going off. So this right here, again, this is our German Shepherd friend. We have a Nuka-Cola vending machine right there, but also over there on the left, and we're going to get a better shot of it. It looks like there's armor in this kind of garage here. So here's the shot right here. Again, Brotherhood of Steel. I mean, at this point, I'm kind of saying like, yes, that's a Brotherhood of Steel armor set. But you look around this kind of garage over there on the left, we have some guns, some laser guns and things like that. On that table, we have a Vault Boy bobblehead. Over on the right, we get a Nuka-Cola merchandise here. There's a clock. It looks like a poster. Below that, it looks like a comic book stand. And I mean, you look around this and you're like, this is somebody's garage. This was something that somebody lived in. And that's one of the cool things about Fallout is that the world actually feels like it was lived in. Like these were homes of people. And I like when games do that because you kind of look at it and you're like, yeah, people lived in this world and now they're dead. And I'm going to go steal their stuff so I can survive in this very, very brutal world that's always trying to kill me. So then we cut to this shot right here with the German Shepherd. That's looks like our hero right over there. Then we get this shot. He kind of pets him. That's how you know that the two are partnered up. They're companions. But then we get the Pip-Boy right here, which is kind of like the menu system of the game. So that's obviously going to be making a return, which I'm not saying you can't do a Fallout game without a Pip-Boy, but I'm actually a little happy. Like, have those kind of nods at the series. And then you see this guy is wearing a Vault 111 jumpsuit. So he could be, like, obviously he comes out of Vault 111, but I'm not sure if he was born in it. Like, this is the first time he's ever been outside, or maybe he was outside, went into Vault 111, and then decided to come back out. But the other cool thing about this shot right here is that the character actually talks. And I'm starting to think to myself, like, usually Bethesda games in the whole Skyrim or kind of Fallout vibe or kind of theme game, you know what I'm trying to say. In these types of games, the character doesn't have a voice. Yes, he's saying stuff because you can have dialogue options to kind of have a conversation with people, but it's not something that you hear. It's not like a BioWare game where you select an option and the person actually has a voice dialogue option that they're going to say. So now I'm starting to think to myself, like, maybe they're going to go that route. Games are starting to do that more and more. Telltale does it. Like I said, Mass Effect and Dragon Age do it. So they could be going in that direction. So that was cool. I mean, I'm not saying you can't do the game without it, but it is kind of cool. I'm very happy with it. And then we get Fallout 4, the official announcement for it. I think a lot of people were speculating it was going to be Fallout and then just a subtitle, but Fallout 4 is the actual title. Then we're going to cut to this shot right here, which is going to show you the website, but it also is going to tell you, first of all, no release date. I will talk about a release date later on when I start talking about E3 because I have a theory about where I think the game is going to be coming out. A lot of people are speculating 2015. I think a little bit different. So I have a theory as to, and I'm going to explain why I think that way. But one of the things I want to point out here is down at the bottom where they sort of tell you what platforms this game is going to be on. We have Xbox One, we have PlayStation 4, and we have the PC. No 360 and no PS3. And actually looking at looking up at information for it, the people who were developing said the things that we're doing with Fallout 4, we can't do on previous gen consoles. So I'm really excited for this game. Really, really, really excited. I can't wait for E3 next Monday. That's kind of why I wanted to get this video out soon because I'm not going to have the time to do it after. And after E3, we're going to have more information, so there's no point talking about a reveal trailer. But what's cool is that these people actually had gameplay ready. There wasn't a cinematic trailer like I was expecting. This was a full-on gameplay trailer, an official trailer. So really excited for this game. I hope you guys are too. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.